All right, picking up where we left off, we're going to now finalize our pie piece, make any little last edits that we want to do, add a couple fun details, and then start doing copy paste and do our background colors. So when you're making any changes to your pie piece, a couple things that might have happened was, like say for this one, if you had pieces that you couldn't color and you wanted to just fix in Adobe. So for instance, like this one, I can't color. If I select everything and then hit K on my keyboard, I get that no symbol. I can't fill that with color because it's not a closed shape. But what I can do is I can hit B on my keyboard, and that's my brush tool. And right now my brush would be a see-through stroke, and I don't want that. So I'm going to make it black. Oops, that changed everything because everything was selected. Let me click off of this. So if I come over here and reverse my stroke so that my stroke is black, and if I go with the brush tool, now if I also change the size, and I can either use a shortcut on my keyboard or the bracket, the left bracket, or I can go into properties and change my stroke size, either one. But if I retrace this simple shape, now it's closed. So as long as I end where I start, I'll have a closed shape. And now what I can do is I can select this, and I can fill that with the same color as before. And if I want to match a color, what I do is I hit the eyedropper key on my keyboard, and I click where I want to match it. And I'm not concerned that the black here isn't always visible. As long as I have that beigey star color, that's fine. And I think I'm going to edit down, change the color of this because I don't actually like it that much. Now, one thing that can also be fun is to play with gradients. So if you have anything where you want to use a gradient, let's just talk about how to do that. If you go to your direct selection tool, which is A on your keyboard, it's this white arrow. It lets you directly select a shape. So I can select just this little blue sky. And what I'm going to do here is if I go to Window and I go down to Gradient, I can decide on a gradient color scheme. So what I have to do here is click on this board or this spectrum, and now that'll change what I had to be black and white, but that's fine. I can either do a linear gradient or I can do a radial. And I think what I'll do for this one is, I think I'll keep radial. If you want to do a linear one, what you can always do is change the angle. See how this goes darker to light down here? That could be what happens with a sunset or sunrise, but typically you're going to get something that actually goes from bottom to top. So you can always change your direction as much as you need to. I think I'll keep radial. That's kind of fun. And when I click on these little droppers down here, that's how I change the color. So if I double click this, it's just gray. If I want to get my colors, I go to the menu, go from grayscale to CMYK, and just pick my colors. So let's do some kind of dark purpley color. And over here, let's do, again, I have to change from grayscale to CMYK. And let's do some kind of sun color. That looks good. And I can also add colors. So see how I get a little plus icon? I'm going to pull this down so you can see it a little bit. So I get a plus icon. I can add as many different levels of color as I want. So I'm going to go back here and change this one and make that a darker blue. And I can come in here and change this one and make it a little more of like an orange. Yikes, that's terrible. And if I decide I have too many colors, what I can also do is if I select one, I see how this is the white outline, that means it's selected. If I select this one, I can hit delete and it goes away. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to copy. Now that we have everything the way we want it, we're going to copy. Okay, so you can see that I spent some time getting rid of the stroke down here and changing that up. I added some pink bunny ears, changed around the sky in here. To do this, you just click on the shape with your direct selection tool, which is your white arrow. And to get a gradient, you just pull up your window, go down to gradient, okay, so I get kind of picky about this and I changed it all around again. So what we do, now that all of our decisions are as we want them, we are going to take our pie piece, we're going to first group it. So we're going to take a selection, we're going to make sure our layers are visible, our circle's locked, and we're going to draw a selection over our entire pie piece. Make sure you grab everything so it's highlighted, because now all those paint marks that you made, if you copy paste and don't do this, you're not going to keep all those paint marks. So we're going to go to Object and Group. Click off of it. Let's select it one more time. Let's go to Object and see how Group is now grayed out. That means it's all grouped together. That means it worked. So what we can do now is do, while it's all selected, we can do Command C on your keyboard, which is the shortcut for copy. And we can do a new layer over here. And this is going to be number 2. And do Command V for paste. Now, ideally what you should be doing is locking every layer once you leave it so that nothing gets changed by accident. Now you know it's the same size as your other layer, as your other pie piece. It's really just a matter of rotating it to get it to fit into this little segment of your circle. You shouldn't have to resize it anymore. And that's fitting. So I'm going to lock this, add new layer, call this one 3, and now I still have, on my clipboard, I have my old copy. So if I just hit Command V again, I can copy it again. And you might notice that the selection colors are changing, and then they're identified over here. So if you're wondering like which layer you're on, it's a quick little shortcut by looking at the colors. Okay, so now that you have all your layers copied and pasted, you might notice that you have a center that's kind of large like mine. Maybe you want to add something there. You could quickly take the paintbrush, the shapes. You have enough knowledge to kind of make a little design in there if you wanted to. You're welcome to do that. You're also welcome to do a brand new drawing and then quickly upload it, put it in the center and color it in. So that's something you definitely have time to do as well. So keep that in mind. For time's sake in the demo, I'm not going to do that, but I do think mine looks probably a little too empty down there.